One connection I made between this assignment and another course is to the collaboration course. I noted in that course that what I had been thinking of as going too far across the line of professionalism wasn't really far enough to benefit most families. So, this model provided specific recommendations for the how and what regarding parent and family involvement, and that one of the things that I really liked about this is that the authors note, there's no wrong level. Each family is very different and has unique needs, and educators need to be responsive to those needs. And we need to be aware of what the family is thinking about as their involvement. If they're helping their student with homework at home or teaching skills at home, reinforcing skills at home, that still counts as parent and family involvement, and we need to respect that. Overall, I think many of the goals that I had set for myself in this paper are being met. For instance, I've had conversations with parents about things like their rights and least restrictive environment. In meeting with a parent relatively recently, it became obvious that he or she thought that because their student was at the center school, that was a permanent placement. And I was able to explain that we're always working to allow a student to move into a less restrictive environment back out of the center school. And it turned out that that's not something that parent had considered before. They're pretty comfortable with the school and the progress that their student has made, but I was able to put it on their radar and at least have them think about that as something that might be beneficial for their student. Perhaps not immediately, but in years moving forward, to certainly keep that option in mind. Prior to this course, I wouldn't have had I didn't have the knowledge or skills to be able to have conversations like that. I didn't know enough about parental rights or even the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act prior to this program at KU. And the collaboration course and each of the courses has lent to my knowledge of IDEA, and particularly in terms of the communication and collaboration strategies. It's only because of this program that conversations like that are meaningful and possible. Because I know more about IDEA and different parental rights and responsibilities, whenever I hear about legislation, I can latch onto it more quickly, retain it for longer, and I'm able to utilize it during conversations with parents and families. At one of the more intermediate levels of this model, the school put on a parent workshop regarding behavior, and I was asked to speak at that with a veteran teacher of almost 40 years at our school, and that was a great honor to be able to team up with her, and together we tried to break down the functions of several of the parent behaviors that they brought to us. It was a very open, honest conversation about, hey, this is what's happening in my home, and I need some guidance. How do I approach this? So it became quickly clear that some of those parents needed more intensive strategies for home. And so what that teacher did was she started sharing some preventative medicine, things like offering choices. And I identified those from our work in SPED 743 and 843 as Tier 1. We could think of those as Tier 1 strategies for the home. And I was able to jump on board with that. But what we did that day is to create and start a conversation between those families and school personnel. We're more knowledgeable about the needs and desires and skill level of many of our family members at the school, and we're better poised to help them by providing meaningful guidance different training and um, more advanced strategies and interventions that they will be able to use at home, as well as the training to be able to implement those effectively at home. At the first level of the model, though there has been some growth and I have met some of those goals that I laid out for myself, this is the area that, ironically, the most fundamental level where I found that I still have some work to do. Oftentimes I get caught up in the teaching, working with students on what I believe to be most beneficial for them. And when someone from the office drops off a paper that needs to go home, I don't always get a chance to look at it, proofread it, maybe reword it. From the collaboration course, I remember the importance of wording things as an invitation instead of always information, and make it personal. There are times when I can do that. For instance, I use the Remind app to help me do that in a variety of ways. And I'll tie in the transition course as well. One of the facets of being an effective transition service coordinator is to have flexible scheduling and administrative support, which I think we have at our school. I was able to work with that veteran teacher, have someone else watch my class while we presented to parents. So the administrative support is there. It also requires working with flexible scheduling, sometimes well beyond our contract hours. So I often find myself using the Remind app outside of school hours. But I think I can do more. I think I need to be open to the opportunities when someone brings paperwork by, to be more aware of using the skills from the collaboration course and this course regarding the model for parent and family involvement to bolster my level 1 progress. Overall, though, I have seen growth. I'm having more conversations and better conversations with parents and families regarding a variety of areas like community programs, the rights and responsibilities of parents. We're creating more opportunities for things like parent workshops and dialogue with families regarding their needs and matching up services. So, though there's more work to do, this paper really laid the foundation for the path moving forward to improve, and overall has been incredibly beneficial in a variety of areas for many of my students, not just the one in case study.